Hello, and on today's episode, I'm here with Adam Howell of the Smoke Exchange platform. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Jason. How are you?
Doing fantastic. So can you tell me a little bit about the problem you're trying to solve with this?
So the Smoke Exchange caters to the marijuana industry. And one of the major problems within the industry at the moment is that the marijuana industry is and always will be banned from the major advertising platforms like Google AdWords and Facebook, for example, simply because it will always fit under that same category as alcohol and tobacco and vape pens, etc. So what we're doing is we're creating a self-serve advertising exchange that will allow advertisers to bid on publisher placements in a real-time environment with an auction-based system.
Okay, and are you using like a cryptocurrency to do this?
Well, what we have is I'm also the founder of Dopecoin, which was established back in 2014. And Smoke Exchange is one of our sister companies. Now, Dopecoin will be used on the platform, and if anyone deposits advertising funds onto the platform with Dopecoin, they'll receive a 25% deposit bonus. But the platform also runs on its own token, the Smoke Exchange token, which is used to provide liquidity on the platform. And its sole purpose is as a utility token to actually be used as advertising tokens, essentially.
And I imagine these advertisements would be on websites?
Correct. So our goal is to connect publishers and advertisers. So what we're looking to do is to find website owners in the marijuana industry who want to sell banner ads on their website. They can then easily sign up with our platform. With a self-serve login, they're going to be able to go in and create their own placements, input the snippet of code onto their website, and then we'll be able to auction that off to our advertisers as well.
Yeah, because even if you have like a blog that just talks about marijuana, you might not be able to get anybody to actually run ads on your site right now without you guys.
Right. So many of these marijuana websites will not be able to partner up with any of the existing platforms simply because they're very concerned about their brand image. And also there's some legality issues as well that might scare a lot of advertising exchanges off. But with our platform, we're going to cater specifically to the marijuana industry and be able to facilitate these blog owners so that they can just simply log into our platform, create their account, and then insert a placement onto their website, and we can then start auctioning off traffic to our advertiser base.
Yeah, there's people don't realize, even though it's being more and more legalized around the USA, that there's still a lot of censorship around marijuana, like just having content on YouTube or Instagram, oftentimes that will get you flagged.
Absolutely, yeah. And we're also seeing a lot of social media accounts just get banned out of nowhere. Guys that have built brands over Facebook and Instagram over the years and had hundreds of thousands of followers are just getting their pages taken down. And it's really tough to put your marketing assets into a third party like that. And that's kind of the problem with the industry right now, is that everything's third party. What we want to do is be able to help marijuana brands bring their marketing back in-house where it belongs.
Yeah, it's very strange for such a high-growth industry to have this strange friction.
It is very strange, and we're talking about a large industry as well. Like in the U.S. alone, they're looking at around $16 billion by 2020. And we also have Canada that is going to be legalizing within the next month. And they're predicting their forecasts are $5.5 billion for the first year. So we're talking about a massive industry that's facing a lot of red tape right now. There's banking issues with the industry as well, and still a lot of legislation and regulatory problems for sure.
So if I have a blog, if I want to integrate your service, is it just like a code snippet that I put on my site?
Correct. So basically the publisher is going to be able to simply log onto the platform after creating their account. And then they're going to be able to select what size of placement they want to create, as well as targeting options, such as if they wanted simply on website or mobile. It will then produce a snippet for them where they simply copy and paste it into the slot of where they want their banner to display.
And for the people who are buying the ads, how does that work?
So advertisers will be able to do the same type of process where they just simply create an account, log on, Then be able to fund their account using either fiat currency, PayPal, or crypto. We also built our own payment gateway that will facilitate cryptocurrency payments. And after funding their account, they simply click on create an ad, and then they start picking their parameters. They select their placement, what size ad they want, their geolocation. They can narrow down to devices, operating systems, you name it. We have all of the targeting. There is a lot of additional things that we're going to be adding, but we have a tremendous amount of core functionality to launch into the marketplace with.
Is there any screening process for the advertisers?
Absolutely. So there's screening processes on both sides. Whenever a publisher wants to set up a new placement, it will go through an approval process to ensure that the placement is set up correctly. Another great feature that we have as well that we want to make sure the advertiser implements correctly, the publisher implements correctly, is that we have a piece of our code that will default to an additional snippet of code or banner if we are unable to fill that marketing spot. So if we're unable to fill the impression, it's going to have a backup system in place.
So what made you decide to use a cryptocurrency to solve this problem?
The reason that we decided to actually go with a cryptocurrency for this project is we created Dopecoin back in 2014, and our original business model was to try to solve the banking issues that the legalized marijuana industry was facing. Within a few months, we realized that that was a failed business model, and there simply was not demand for this type of service. So we started to pivot and started to think of different ways that we could actually bring everyday use and value to the Dopecoin currency. And the solution to that was to create a advertising platform, which is a scalable business that we could potentially do millions of dollars a year in revenue with, and then incorporate Dopecoin as a preferred method of payment onto that platform to try to encourage real-time use. Now, in the advertising industry, it's very important to understand that many times you will launch a marketing campaign and you'll be break even, but you just simply can't get profitable. Well, if you deposit Dopecoin on the platform, you get a 25% bonus. This then, in turn, will allow you to take a break-even campaign and turn it profitable.
How have the advertisers reacted to the system?
Well, we haven't launched yet. We're just finishing our development now. We've got all the major pieces of the puzzle in place. We're just working on some bug checking and some security checks. And we also are working on establishing our LLC right now and setting up our payment gateways for credit card and PayPal.
Well, I mentioned they must be pretty excited just in general because there's so limited options for them to advertise to their customers.
It's right. It's a tremendous problem with an industry that's growing so huge, so fast. For them to be limited in being able to actually sell their products or grow their brands, we're talking about a major multi-million-dollar problem. And we're here to solve that problem.
So what have been some of the challenges of solving this problem?
There were a lot of challenges. We'd never built a piece of software this sophisticated before, and we have a very small development team. It's only 2 developers and myself. So we didn't even know if we we're going to be able to pull it off initially, but we have pulled it off. I'm really proud of our team and what we've done, but definitely our biggest challenges were technological. Our next challenge that we face once we finish the technology and have the proof of concept and everything working like it should will be actually launching and customer acquisition is going to be our next challenge.
So have you gone to any of like the trade shows they have?
Not yet. No, we want to make sure that we have a working product where we can get people to come on board and fall in love with it immediately, and to have that, to not really blow that first impression. We want to have a working product there to deliver.
That's very good. I talk to a lot of people who are going to all the trade shows and talking to customers, but they have no product.
Yeah, I see a lot of people doing that. They're spending all their time going to these blockchain conferences trying to. I don't know if it's more of like a promotional thing for themselves or if they're trying to raise additional capital, but it's time for a lot of these guys to get to work and actually deliver some technology.
So what are your plans going forward for the future?
Okay, so our plans going forward in the future is to rebrand both the Smoke Exchange advertising platform as well as Dopecoin. Dopecoin was named Dopecoin because back in the day, in 2014, when we launched it, the biggest news on the blockchain scene was the Silk Road underground drug exchange that was operating on the deep web. And we thought that our Additionally, at the same time, marijuana legalization was just happening in the United States. So there were these two combinations of events where crypto was blowing up and marijuana was blowing up. And I was trying to originally facilitate a type of payment platform on a payment system for that particular industry, which is kind of how Dopecoin came into where it's at now. Is that's how it all got started. Now, that was very risky and very stupid back in the day to even focus on that market. Luckily, we were never adopted. But what we've realized now is that name, if we want to take everything mainstream here, like we've always wanted to do, and to be able to be looked at by serious investment, it's time to actually change the Dopecoin name to something more mainstream.
Yeah, that is the problem of naming can mean so much.
It's a big it's a big deal for sure. Last year, we have the most superior technology out of any of the cannabis cryptos on the face of the planet. But last year, when we had the big bull run, we weren't able to get the type of attraction like some of the other coins that hadn't even worked on their technology in years. And I believe big catalyst to this was 100% the name.
And are you going to be doing like an ICO or anything like that?
Right. So we actually already did an ICO back in the last quarter of 2017, and we successfully raised about 475 Ethereum. That's helped us fund our platform and prepare for our launch strategy.
Okay, that's interesting. So do you think that the interest in these, there are a few marijuana-related coins, do you think that the interest is waning in them, or is it, what's going on there?
Sorry, you're asking like what's our mission to like take them out? Is that what you mean?
No, I was kind of wondering why there wasn't more interest.
Why there isn't more interest? Okay. Now, I think one of the reasons why interest is waning currently on the marijuana crypto scene is, first of all, we have Potcoin, who was one of the leaders in the race, who haven't done any sort of technology upgrades in the last, I believe, 4 years since they've actually added any code to their GitHub to actually update their blockchain tech. And they've also marred their reputation by doing publicity stunts like sending Dennis Rodman to North Korea and stuff like this. So it's hard for investors to maybe take the industry seriously at this point in time. Another real, big factor is the state of the market right now. After everyone was going crazy in the last quarter of last year, they've all lost a ton of money if they held onto their crypto, and no one really wants to liquidate at a loss to go into something else that might be risky for them as well. Well,
it's a really interesting project and does sound very needed for those ads that are being censored. Is there anything that I should have asked you that maybe I missed?
No, I think we got it. I think we did it.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks, Jason. I really appreciate it, man.
You are a podcast listener and you're interested in crypto. Otherwise, why would you be listening to this show, right? Have you tried looking for new crypto and blockchain podcasts to listen to? If you've used Google, then you've probably found a whole bunch of clickbait articles. Top 10 lists that just list the same podcasts over and over again. And most of those podcasts aren't even active anymore. If you use iTunes, then you probably got a whole bunch of irrelevant results. The iTunes search function is absolutely awful. It's kind of like using Alta Vista in the 1990s. Keyword stuffing has made it almost unusable. So I made a site to fix this problem. Just go to crypto.podcastlist.net. On the site, you'll find a comprehensive list of all the active podcasts covering the blockchain, cryptocurrency, and other decentralization technologies. This is not a curated list of my favorite shows. This list is intended to be complete. I want to list every single show that is focused on this industry. I've got about 75 active shows on the list already. Please let me know if I've missed any shows. This list is also covered by a Creative Commons license, so feel free to reuse it and share it. Check out crypto.podcastlist.net if you are looking for new crypto and blockchain podcasts. And if you have your own show, please check and make sure you are listed. Once again, the site is crypto.podcastlist.net. Please check it out and tell me what you think.